Hey guys, Hecon's here with another World of Warcraft gold making guide. We had Season 3 as well as the new Eternal Palace raid drop earlier today. I thought I'd go over some of my sales from earlier, selling to people buying raid mats, as well as some of my weekend sales to show you how I'm doing on this realm. I also wanted to pass off a few tips and tricks to help you rake in millions with your gold making with a new raid. So it's Tuesday evening, a little before 9 PM. Wanted to quickly go over my sales from today, as well as over the weekend. Did have a lot more sales, especially contracts, but I usually collect those at the end of the night. That way I can send my guildie his cut, since he's the one that's crafting them for me. But I did get it down to 2 pages, so should be fairly quick. You guys can see right off that I did sell some alchemy potions. I did run my demon hunter, who's my alchemist on this realm, through the stir requests for Nashatar, and ended up getting the battle potion of intellect recipe rank 3 as a drop. So I ended up crafting, I'd say around 100 of those, and managed to sell 60 so far. I did also get the potion of unbridled fury, I believe at rank 2, but I saw that they were quite profitable, so crafted some of those and threw them up. And then I did the same with the potion of focus resolve. Just selling them in stacks of 1, stacks of 5, and stacks of 20, and making sure to match stack size and TSM so it undercuts the right stack size. Sold a couple of enchants, Nugget Hide for 1.2k each. Little low, but enchants have been pretty much in the dirt on this realm, so not too worried. And I am sitting on a bunch of enchants on my mage, so when I'm done recording here, I'm going to send those over and list those. And then you guys can see the rest of the sales are all the new item level 400 trinkets. I got my crafting cost down to around between like 2k to 2.5k, so made some really nice profit selling all these. There's probably about 40 sales, I'd say, maybe a little under 40 of the trinkets, and I'm selling them for anywhere between I think the lowest is around like 5.2k, but you can see some pretty nice sales at like 9.5k, quite a few at like 7, quite a few at 8, and then a lot more at 6 and 5, so pretty much doubling or better on my investment. I did pick up a bunch of herbs at 30 gold or less. A little before, I think it was like before Sunday. Someone did also buy them out up to 100 gold each, so the prices were at around 100 gold per herb for about a day. And then earlier today they came back down to around 50 gold, so really happy I picked up I think I picked up like 20 stacks at 30 gold each, so a pretty substantial investment, but I'm making a lot of gold back, especially with the potions as well as the new trinkets, so quite happy about that. That's all I wanted to cover on page 1, so go ahead and loot this and we'll take a look at page 2. So we did end up looting around 310k from page 1, which put us over 6 mil. And then we have around 279k to loot on page 2. So that should put us a little over 6.3 mil, which is almost 2/3 to gold cap. I will be buying a bunch of tokens to cap my balance again, so may dip a little bit, but have a lot of sales coming in, so I'm not too worried. You guys can see on this page I'm selling the trinkets for like 8k plus. Did sell a 340 staff for 15k, or 14.2 after the auction house cut. Really awesome sale. These are still in demand, so if you have any 340s left over, make sure to adjust your auctioning operations on TSM and just list them up with your 370s. Sold a cutlass for 10k. More trinkets at 9.5 after the auction house cut. Really awesome sales. Weapon enchant for 2k. And then gems for between like 350 all the way up to 500. A couple of ore scrolls for 230. This is one of the mount items. A little under 5k for that. But we were doing really well with the 370 weapons, the ones that are crafted with blacksmithing. Selling them consistently for between like 10k to 12k. So really nice sales with blacksmithing weapons. I'll probably need to craft more later tonight. Especially the two-handers, those seem to be selling the fastest, so pretty happy with my sales in the last like 4 to 5 days. Have been gone most of the day today, so not many sales from earlier today, but plenty of sales over the weekend and like Friday from last week. Gonna go ahead and loot this and go over a few more tips and tricks for gold making with a new raid. So in this tune, we're going to take a look at alchemy and how we can make gold in the new raid. One thing you must have is the tools of the trade item, Silas's Sphere of Transmutation. Remember that once per hour you can use it and turn it into a random item. And the item that we're looking for isn't this one. It should be something called Silas's Potion of like Prosperity, I believe. But that's going to give you a potion that you can use, and that potion will give you a buff that will give you increased procs when you craft stuff at rank 3, so definitely need to have that to be competitive in the alchemy market on most realms. As I mentioned earlier, I ended up crafting a bunch of the Superior Battle Potion of Intellect, since I did get the rank 3 from a world drop. You can see that all the 3 or 4 of the Superior Battle Potions are drops in Azshara'S, so you should see them drop as you do questing, run missions with your buddy, and so on. So definitely need to grind a little bit in Azshara'S to get all 4, but I was happy just doing the intellect since I'm not too big on alchemy this expansion, so I did show you guys I did sell like a stack of 20, 3 of those at, I think I ended up doubling my gold on those. Forgot what the crafting cost is, but I think it was under 150, because I did get these in Anthids for under 30 gold, and then remember at rank 3 you do get the extra procs. So yeah, 8 times 30 is 240, and then that divided by 1.4 would be my crafting cost. And the Siren's Pollen and the older herbs are a couple of gold each on my realm, so those costs are pretty negligible. It's just a Xenanthid that you need to worry about. Getting those for as cheap as you can, so you can craft pretty much all the new herbs use Xenanthid, so that's going to be your highest expense with alchemy. And then another thing to pay attention to is that some of the herbs are crafted with only Xenanthid, so it's really easy to do the math to figure out how much the crafting cost is, check what the prices are on your realm, and I wouldn't like go too heavy on one of these potions. Maybe craft like 20 or 40 of each, just to see if they sell or not. In my case, I did sell, I believe it was these 3, Wild Mending, Unbridled Fury, and Focus Resolve, so this one does take some Winter's Kiss, but again, the cost of the older herbs is pretty negligible, so just make sure you're getting the Xenanthid for cheap. And then you do need to do some grinding with these as well. You can see some of them drop in Operation Mechagon, which is the new Mega Dungeon that opened with Season 3. And then some of them are tied to rep. Yeah, I don't play this tune enough to have the rep ones unlocked yet, so probably gonna miss gold making with those, but I'm doing pretty well with the other ones that only take Xenanthid, as well as the Battle Potion of Intellect, which I have rank 3 of. I think that's it for alchemy, so we're gonna hop over to my priest and talk a little bit about cooking and feasts. So for cooking, the best gold making is probably going to come from the new feasts, which you guys can see here. The Famine, Evaluator, and Snack Table, or Feast. You can see it does take a few buy non pickup items, so you'll have to farm a little bit, but nothing too crazy. The Viper Fish you can just fish up or purchase off the auction house. The Ionized Minnow is really pretty easy to farm. All you need to do is use that vacuum item and you'll get tons. Probably a couple thousand within like 10 minutes. Stringy Loins and Meaty Haunch you can buy off the auction house for pretty cheap. Most realms it should be between. Like on my realm I found a bunch at under 1 gold each, so super cheap. Fresh Potato is a vendor item, and then the Spare Crate is the item that you can make with that robot and Mechagon. I believe it's 250 of the spare parts, so yeah. A little bit of farming, but it's fairly easy, pretty straightforward. The rank 3 does drop in the new dungeon. It does drop off of the trash, so usually within like 2 or 3 trash pulls you should have rank 3. And one cool thing I learned is that you don't need to actually know rank 2 to learn rank 3. Rank 2 comes from Exalted with the Rust Bolt. So yeah, I ended up going from learning rank 1 from my trainer to getting the rank 3 drop from Mechagon. And I was able to learn that without learning rank 2 first. So not sure if that's intended or not, and if it's been hotfixed already, but that's one thing to keep in mind. Make sure that when you get the rank 3 to take a look at it, and if it doesn't say that you need to know the previous rank, go ahead and learn it, and you should get rank 3 automatically, jump from rank 1 to rank 3. And it does bring down the crafting cost significantly. At rank 1 you do need to have 3 spare crates. Rank 2 I believe is 2 spare crates, and you guys can see that at rank 1 I only need 1 spare crate, so a lot less grinding in Mechagon, more feasts, and more profit, so I think that's all for tips. I think we can pretty much ignore all the other foods. Pretty much everyone's going to have rank 2 from the trainer and rank 3 from the world quest, so prices should be pretty low on these, but it doesn't hurt to take a look and see if it is profitable on your own. Maybe craft like a couple hundred of each and throw them up on the auction house if you have the mats. Otherwise, I'm probably going to be focused on farming the mats for these feasts, both for my guild's use as well as for gold making. So that's all I wanted to share for cooking. So why don't we talk a little bit about BOE flipping in the new raid, as well as 8.2. So one of the most lucrative ways you can make gold in any raid tier is flipping the raid drop BOEs.
Needs to be at least 2 centuries old.
So for this tier, the string that you likely want to use is going to be this one, /120/epic/I415. That's going to just find any character level 120 epic BOEs that are item level 415 or higher. You do have LFR opening next week, which will drop 400, so if you wanted to get into flipping LFR versions as well, you can change that I415 down to 400. However, I generally stick to flipping normal, heroic, and mythic versions, so I'm going to end up using the I415. Remember that mythic isn't open until next week, so I believe the items are still capped at around 430, maybe 435, so the highest item I've seen this week, or today, Tuesday, is 430, which dropped for someone in normal, and Titan Forged 15 levels, so once mythic opens next week, the item level cap should be going up. I can't remember what the cap's going to be, but it should be like 450, maybe 455, so keep an eye out for good buys, especially if you find like a heroic version or a mythic version priced below like an LFR version. Maybe worth picking up. Just look at the prices of the other heroic and mythic versions, and generally you'll know if it's a good flip or not, and whether it's like priced low enough where you can flip it at a profit. Pretty straightforward, I think. I have done other flipping guides, so not sure if I'll make another flipping guide for this raid tier, but if enough people show interest, just leave me a comment below, and yeah, I might work on something for flipping BOEs. That's going to be it for this video. I hope some of these tips help you out with your gold making, and you guys are enjoying the 8.2 content as well as the new raid and dungeon. I won't be able to play as much the next 2 weeks, since I'll be fairly busy, but my guild did clear most of normal today, and I was able to join them for 3 of the bosses. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon as well. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Late.